I took the blame so she could keep her scholarship. It wasn't smart. It wasn't heroic. It was a simple choice in a bright hallway that smelled like cleaning liquid and stress. Her name is Mai. Mine isn't important. We were two students trying to make it. Cheap coffee, old laptops, and long nights. The night before the review, our server failed. A file was used without a clear citation. A test branch overwrote the main code. Emails flooded our professor's inbox. The committee called it misconduct. For Mai, the scholarship was rent, food, and a promise to her mother back home. I had already lost mine. I was working night shifts to stay in school. Maya kept a blue mechanical pencil. The paint was rubbed off. She called it her Tide stick. A small joke for a hard life. That morning her hand shook. So I said the bad code was mine. The missing citation, mine. The mess, mine. They suspended me for 1 semester. My transcript got a permanent note. Her scholarship stayed. Her hand stopped shaking. We didn't celebrate. We shared a quiet coffee. I said, finish what we started? Then life pulled us in different directions. I found small jobs in the background of buildings, testing alarms at night, helping the IT desk at dawn. I learned to be useful without being seen. I walked past the hydrology lab and kept going. Mai stayed and kept studying. It was not easy. She wrote a flood model that worked on paper but failed with real rain. She tested it on past storms. It broke. She rebuilt it. It broke again. She kept going. When she felt like quitting, she drew a small wave in the notebook and wrote one line. Finish what we started. She carried a water-stained notebook. Inside the cover, she taped a small piece of the old hearing notice. She crossed out the word misconduct and wrote miscount. To her, it wasn't cheating. It was pressure, distraction, and a mistake they could fix with better process. Fieldwork changed her. She learned the river's habits. She talked to residents who knew where water usually went. She strapped cheap sensors to bridges. She coded under a plastic tarp when it rained. Slowly, her model learned to combine many signals: rain, soil, wind, traffic, old maps, and turn them into clear actions. Open this gate now. Close that road early. Move buses before the water rises. It took years, but one spring, the predictions finally matched the river. 10 years after that hallway, a big storm hit the city where we had studied. The forecast was bad. The numbers were worse. The river started climbing. Lights flickered. Roads filled fast. By then, I worked nights in the city's emergency center. I made coffee. I swapped batteries. I kept printers alive. I watched the room. The director said, "We need routes that will not flood. We need to open and close gates at the right time. We need a map we can trust." An analyst ran in with a hard drive. "This is from Dr. Mai Li," he said. "Her flood algorithm, latest build." He added, "She can join by video." Mai's voice came through the speaker, steady and clear. "I need live sensors from bridges A to D, rain data from the South Ridge, and traffic cameras on the East Ring. If we close Gate 7 now, the industrial park will flood, but the hospital stays safe. If we move evacuation 10 minutes earlier, the South Lane will stay dry long enough for the dialysis patients. No drama, no big speech. We connected the data. The model returned a simple timeline. Close here. Open now. Evacuate this district by 1420, or the road will be gone by 1431. Change the lights at 3 quiet intersections to push traffic to higher ground." People argued. They always do. The director looked at me, the coffee guy, and said, "Run it." We ran it. Sirens started. Buses rolled. Gyms opened. Nurses counted IV poles. The hospital elevators finished their trips before power cut because the model asked the grid to wait 1 minute. A helicopter dropped sandbags where the water would turn next. At 1419, the South Lane still held. At 1433, the road behind the last bus disappeared. At 1502, the generator took over exactly on time. By late afternoon, the worst had passed. The city was not perfect. Some places flooded, but the city was standing. 2 days later, Mai came to City Hall. She wore a plain windbreaker with dried river marks on it. Reporters asked questions. She answered simply. "It was a team," she said. Data, field crews, and people willing to move when the map told them to. Then came a small, sharp moment. HR pulled my file to plan interviews. A deputy glanced at the screen, then at then at me. "You two studied together," he said. "There's an old issue in your record." The word hung in the air. I stepped back toward the edge of the room. Mai tapped her blue pencil on the podium. The paint was still rubbed off. She looked at me like she was looking at the starting shore of a long swim. "He told me to finish what we started," she said to the deputy, to the rumor floating above us. I did. "Today, so did your city." She did not say my name. She did not retell the hearing. She put the blue pencil on the podium and pushed it to the director. "Keep this in the operations room," she said. "If panic rises, measure it, then lower it." The room relaxed. People smiled quietly. Later came awards and grants. The code was shared so other towns could adapt it. Field notes were translated. She made sure there was a budget for local elders who know the land. I did not stand in photos. I didn't need to. After shifts, I sometimes walked to the flood wall where the city marks high water with chalk. A new line sat just below last year's fear. I touched it. Chalk is dry, but it still reminds you of rain. One evening, the blue pencil was waiting on the edge of our console. Next to it, a small note in neat handwriting. "Finish what we started." No moral speech, no big ending. Just a tool returned to the room where choices are made. A reminder to act early, to move people first, to open gates before they break. Cities survive on choices like that. Not miracles, good maps, not saints. Ordinary people who carry weight when someone else would sink under it. Rivers don't remember names. They remember paths that stay open. Here is the last picture I keep. Dawn after the storm. Water pulling back, the chalk line drying on the wall. On the concrete, boot prints, a coffee ring, and one thin blue mark that says the tide rose. And we rose higher.